So we're back in Las Vegas, 26-0 our score. It's been all Ducks of the Pac-10 Conference of Oregon shutting out the Air Force Academy in the first half. And Mike Gottfried, looking at the defensive numbers for the first 30 minutes, Chris Gizzi only 1.5 tackles. That to me just that outlines exactly what happened in that first half.
Ron, that speaks volumes. And then you look on the other side of the ball, Blaine Morgan with his very poor passing game in the first half, and they've been taken out of everything. And then you look at the start of this ball game. I think they set the tempo. Oregon set it right off the bat.
This is the first play right here.
And Johnson with the big long catch, he was able to get behind the Air Force secondary, and then McCullough came right back with this long run for a touchdown, and it was 13-0 before Air Force could even get their feet on the ground.
149 yards, Mike, on those first two plays, 69 and 76.
And
unbelievable.
And you look at the statistics, rushing yardage for Air Force only 82 yards, being outrushed by Oregon, and that's their game.
Well, time of possession, the Air Force Academy, and as you mentioned, that can be very, very deceiving. 17:03 at 12:57 as you look at Morgan, and limping a little bit as this night has gotten cooler and cooler as the desert darkness comes here in the valley just outside of Las Vegas, and we are kicking off the second half.
They got one shot, Ron. They need to hit this first series here and make their adjustments and get something to go on. Yeah, Blaine Morgan had a tough first half. When you look at missed practice with the thigh bruise, here gets a good hit, gets banged after a pass. That was a play should have never happened, delay a game play, and he just has not had a very good first half. They've not been able to get the fullback involved in this football game, and let's see what adjustments they make here in the second half.
Now this running play will go for about 3 yards, and White will come over to make the tackle.
Well, when your quarterback comes into a ball game hurt, and you have to run him in the option game, he got hit 14 times while the option was going on. 4 times he carried the football, 3 times that he threw the ball that got decked after the pass. So you got him hurt going in, and he's taking some shots in this ball game.
Ruff left the field, number 19, at the end of the first half. He is back in the ball game to start the second half as the pitch goes to Singleton, and he will make the corner, and he'll take it to the 37-yard line. Let's check in with Adrian.
Ron, as Air Force Academy came onto the field after halftime, Fish DeBerry told me that Blaine Morgan is playing about 70% now. To give that offense some boost, they brought in some big hitters. His big brother Bo and D. Dowse, the most recent successful quarterbacks here at the Academy. They suggested to him we need a little bit more misdirection. That's what we're going to see here early in the second half. They also helped him with some of his passing plays. You mentioned the crown on this field. It's 8 inches drop, gentlemen, from the middle of the field to the sidelines. That's a lot.
That's big, Adrian, when you not practiced on it that much, and he's been out the whole time he's been here.
Pressure, the pitch. Boy, I'll tell you, Singleton did a marvelous job of just gathering that thing in, and it's going to wind up being a loss on the play. And his Oregon defense, much maligned during the season, has certainly stepped forward in this game tonight.
Well, Peter Sermon, the linebacker, 44, is going to come on a blitz, and he really makes a hit on Blaine Morgan and force that play. Oregon's not sitting back. They're attacking the line of scrimmage. They're attacking the option. They're not giving them any chance to get started.
10-man rush as Kirkland waits for the snap back at the 21-yard line. And they're coming after him again, and he gets it away. End over end, it's returnable. Johnson from the 29 gets what he can and then heads out of bounds at the 39-yard line. So Oregon will take it over with very good field position to open the second half. 34 yards in the punt and 10 on the return.
Now, Keely Smith probably will be the starter here the second half. He had the first quarter, and it looked like Jason Moss was given the second. And they'll probably alternate the third and fourth the same way as they did the first.
So McCullum, a very deep set. He's almost 8 yards behind the center. Gets the handoff, starts to the right, takes it to the left, and he'll have about 5. And now here comes a late flag in, and that normally is where offensive holding is flagged. Yep.
Ron, that's the 13th penalty on Oregon. That's the only thing that has stopped them in this ball game.
So, when you guys were outside, holding on the offense, you had 10 yards to go first down.
So the defensive players, as you looked over the shoulder at Desmond Bird, the senior out of Santa Maria, California, on the bench, and listening to what the defensive staff of Rich Stubler have been talking about.
He's done an outstanding job in this ball game. He's resigned his position. We'll talk a little bit about him later, but they've had 3 coaches leave the staff during this period of time preparing for the ball game.
Keely Smith, short drop, gets it out to Johnson. He is hit, and that's a nice open field stop. Smog, who gets out there, Nishan Smog, the sophomore out of Broomfield, Colorado.
Ron, both coordinators going to leave their jobs there. Rich Stubler, of course, is looking to go back into pro football. So he's had 5-6 opportunities, and he's looking at both of them. And here is Dirk Cutter right here. Here's Stubler right here, the defensive coordinator. Dirk Cutter took the Boise State head job. So Mike Bellotti not only having to prepare for a bowl game, but also find some coaches.
That pass well overthrown. Tony Hartley was the closest man to it, but it was well over his head.
I think the same thing happened to Keely Smith there. Again, the drop off on this field. He didn't a lot for it, and he's high again off to the side. He was an interesting player, Keely Smith, when we talked to him the other day. He wanted to play well. He had a lot of people coming down from California for the ball game, and it was interesting. He was going to go to Cal, and then he heard rumors that the head coach, Mariucci, was going to leave and go to the 49ers, so he opted to go to Oregon.
3rd down, and they need about 16 yards for the first, and hit immediately is Wynn. And this is what the coaches at Oregon called the obligatory fullback carry. He gets like 1 a game. He's there as a blocker.
Yeah, he's a designated blocker. He's a walk-on that has earned himself the starting role as the fullback. And they said they always practice and they'll always give him 1 play. And I can tell you, they're taking this play out of the game plan today. He's not going to run again.
Sean Thomas took the play and just stepped all over it.
And I know exactly what Dirk Cutter's saying right now. We should have left that in practice.
Bidwell back to punt again. This spiral not going to turn over. Returnable, and Farmer, nice job with an open field tackle as he crosses the 30 to the 31-yard line. Joyner on the special team. So let's take a timeout. 26-0. Oregon continues to lead.
When it comes to buying a home computer for your family, they say you can never have too much technical support. Fortunately, Packard Bell computers come with service and support built right in, including System Wizard from SystemSoft, so you get the knowledge of a team of technicians without the technicians. Packard Bell, the computer the world comes home to. Featuring the Intel Pentium 2 processor.
When you're looking for anything from gold bulbs to silver bells, stop in and see the folks in the red vest. They've got plenty of decorating and gift ideas to make your season bright. Holiday season or any season, Ace is the place for the helpful hardware folks.
Ice Sport, the cool, fresh scent of exhilaration. In aftershave and deodorants, new from Aquavelva.
The Las Vegas Bowl on ESPN2 is presented by Las Vegas. It's non-stop action around the clock, and we're open 24 hours. And in part by Packard Bell, the computer the world comes home to. part of the strip. Of course, the scene of action, particularly on a Saturday night, any Saturday night, but the Saturday night before Christmas in this city, it is very, very busy. Well, Air Force 11 drives so far. 4 of them were 3 and out. You see Oregon jumping around on defense. They come with the late blitz, and the quick screen is thrown complete. And Farmer tackled after a gain of about 6. Now, Mike, talk about this. The Oregon coaches, and particularly the defensive staff, Coach Stubler, said that what they will try very hard to do is bring still a different scheme in the second half so they can stay ahead of Air Force.
Which I think is a great idea. They opened the first half and played predominantly a 4-man front. Now they're in a 5-man front. They're going to 4-man play, a 5-man front right here, trying to make sure that the adjustments at halftime that the Air Force makes, that they're going to be able to adjust themselves.
This is Singleton at the 15, stepped out of bounds just shy of the 10-yard line. And Perota, number 33, with a paving block.
Ron, your question, I'd go back to the first half defense. But another good block, too, Mike Barron, number 85. Your wide receivers in a wishbone offense, option offense, has to get in the way of the defensive back. Here's the kick out. Now, here's the good block by Perota that you talked about. Now he's going to pick up, there's a missed tackle, pick up the block of Barron, number 85. There he is right here. There's Mike Barron right there, just getting into the defensive back. Bowman just enough to spring him.
51 yards in the carry, straight ahead, Perota, and he dives inside the 5, and he's down to the 3. So the Air Force Academy trying to come out here in the second half and show everybody, hey, we won't stand being treated the way we were in that first 30 minutes.
Michael Fletcher on this last play. Now, Blaine Morgan's upset. He went to the officials. After this play's over and the handoff was given to the fullback, Blaine Morgan gets hit by Michael Fletcher. Here's the play. Clearly doesn't have the ball now. He lost him outside, but he got belted by Fletcher.
You see the late chip inside with the handoff, and it's Garth White there on the stop and the fullback.
A nice tackle by Garth White, the middle linebacker. Hard to believe that this defensive football team gave up to opposing backs this year 2,321 yards, because they played very well tonight.
This is the first time tonight for Air Force to be in the red zone.
And they'd like to get in the end zone.
Perota, the fullback. Haven't seen Gilliam since early on in the first quarter. And it's Perota straight ahead, hit by Miller, also Garth White, and it's going to be a 3rd down situation, or, no, 4th down. 4th down for the Air Force Academy, and it goes without saying that the field goal unit will not be coming on here.
Well, you can't get much closer than they are, Ron. They're down there on about the half-yard line.
Comes a play in from the bench.
Usually in this offense, the way that Air Force has it is the halfbacks are outside, so you don't really get a lead blocker.
Well, they're 0 for 1 on the 4th down tries tonight. Play clock is down to 7, down to 6. Morgan straight ahead with the quarterback sneak, and we see no movement by the officials to signal.
I think he's in there.
Touchdown, Air Force.
I thought I saw him in there.
You're the only one that can see him, because he had a mountain of people on him.
Well,
And that's the reason the officials were waiting. They wanted to make sure that they...
I saw movement, so I knew if there's a half-yard line, they got movement, he's going to be in the end zone. Not taking the ball off the line of scrimmage, gets a nice push there from his fullback, Matt Perota, which is illegal, but he helped him in the end zone.
Alex Wright to attempt the extra point for the Air Force Academy. He's got it. So there's a timeout. 8:29 left in the 3rd quarter, and our new score: Oregon 26, Air Force 7.
So I'm back.
They're certainly not wearing much.
I know. In my town. Hey, lady. What is 24/7?
24/7 is
24 hours a day?
7 days a week.
You want to trade hats? Is this real Dalmatian?
Watch your back, watch your back. Oh, very nice.
Everything, all the time.
We're here to please. Thank goodness you're here. David?
I don't think so. I can't believe it. Oh, man, these fishnets are riding me. Vegas, I'll see you next month.
Get ready to get creative. Get into a Rebel G. Go beyond snapshots. Experience the ultimate rush.
Cool.
Rebel G and only EOS lenses from Canon.
We asked some of Hollywood's hottest stuntmen to try Degree.
What's body heat activate?
As your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection when you need it most.
I heated up, and it cooled me down. I was on fire, and I was dry.
Body heat activated Degree. Your body heat turns it on.
Let's go!
Vacation travelers know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go, National Car Rental, especially if you're going to the happiest place on earth. Because as the official car rental company of Disneyland in Southern California, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. For a family vacation you'll never forget. So what are you waiting for? Let's go to Disneyland with National Car Rental.
It's a feast for college football fans. National Car Rental Bowl Week. Coverage begins December 26th, only on ESPN.
8:29 left in this third quarter. As you look at Blaine Morgan on the sideline, and we checked on the fullback, Gilliam, to see if, and he took a thigh bruise. A helmet to the thigh back in the first quarter, and that's the reason that he is available to play, but they haven't put him back in. 26-7. The Air Force gets on the scoreboard. Pat Johnson, the deep man back, and he will receive this kick. It's short to the 12-yard line. And a flag from way downfield. Now you can hear the whistles are still going on, and we still have got some extracurricular activity going on. Holding against Oregon. They don't keep records in this bowl game for penalties, but Mike, we've done it every year, and I can't remember. This is if it's not the record, it's doggone close.
Yeah, I think that's number 14 right here.
On the receiving team, get a 10-yard penalty. First down.
14 penalties, 108 yards now against Oregon.
Now the Air Force defense. Chris Gizzy's got to lead this defense now. They've got to get a 3 and out here.
You're right. I mean, they got a little lift right here. I mean, they're still a long way away, but they could certainly help out the offense with a break right here. Keely Smith hands it off. McCullough turns the corner, has 5, has 10, and counted off at about 12 yards in the play. Actually, they're going to give him all the way out to the 32 as Gizzy will make the tackle. That's a gain of close to 14.
And Ron, the whole difference in this ball game has been the offensive line when Oregon's on the field, because Marco Aguirre, 69, just had an outstanding block there. They're blocking on the corner. Blake Spence, Clues, Daly, Moan, DeFries. They have really done a good job opening up Saladin McCullough.
Straight ahead, weaving his way, and close to 10 yards on that carry as he is smacked down by Tim Curry, but he just kind of weaves behind that big offensive line, taking it to the left and then back to the right.
He's a good cutback runner. Signed with Southern Cal out of high school, but then had test problems and had to go to junior college. He went to El Camino Junior College in Los Angeles and is really making a name for himself in this Pac-10 as far as running backs go. I've been really impressed with him, Ron.
What he said, he's got like 20 tickets, 20 family and friends coming in for the game. And this is going to be a short-lived run, and he's not going to have the first down. He only picked up about a half a yard as Fisher and Jenkins combined on the stop.
Nice story about Saladin. when he was in his younger age, 8 and 9, his father used to take him down to the Rose Bowl and let him walk around the stadium grass. And he said his dad would always tell me I'm going to be special. And his dad died when he was 10. And he really he remembers those days walking around the Rose Bowl. And he'll be playing a lot of big stadiums before it's all over.
12 carries, 129 yards for him so far. Third down, and he's going to have the first down plus about 5 or 6 more. As Gizzy will make the tackle.
Yeah, they can't stop him. They cannot. Cal McCombs' defense, the defensive coordinator's had a great year, but they can't corral this Oregon's offense. Too much size, too much speed for them.
The speed particularly has been a burden for the Air Force Academy. Rolls the pocket, going to go long, and he just throwing into coverage. It's going to be intercepted, and that's Smog, Nishan Smog, and he will return back to the 25-yard lines. Daly makes the tackle, but now Oregon gets a little careless here.
Yeah, you let these guys back in the ball game now here. Keely Smith is talking to his receiver, Donald Haynes, and maybe ran the wrong pattern, but he threw the ball up, and again, Nishan Smog. Number 10, who came into the ball game, Frank Stainpine, was injured. And here's the bad route, but here's the interception by Smog, and a good return to give decent field position at the 25-yard line.
Most important thing is they have the Oregon offense on the sideline.
Yeah, they get old McCullough over in the sidelines, and Air Force now needs another drive here quickly to get back in this thing.
Hill comes back in at fullback for the Air Force Academy. And he gets the handoff, and he'll take it for virtually nothing. Well, coming up Christmas Eve on ESPN, the very best of SportsCenter 1997. Kenny Mayne and Dan Patrick will guide you through a look back at the year's significant moments, such as Tiger Woods at the Masters, Dean Smith's retirement, how about the Bulls repeating as NBA champs, or baseball's interleague play, and much, much more. Best of SportsCenter, 8:30 Eastern on Wednesday, Christmas Eve. Here comes a reverse. This thing he'll time for the get-go. It is fumbled. It is picked up by White, and he will take it into the end zone for an Oregon touchdown.
Well, that play was a bust from the snap. Well, this play, it started even before the ball was pitched by the quarterback, because people were moving in the offensive line, defensive line.
The best thing could have happened is Air Force having a flag drop for procedure.
Yeah.
So what they're saying, Mike, is that ball, cannot be advanced because it was a muff. It was not a fumble. When he handed the ball off or pitched it to him, that's what they're ruling. And you can't advance a muff.
Now they're getting ready to put the old nail in the coffin here. The Air Force defense.
And he kind of pitched it to him rather than handing it off. And that is the only thing good about the play for the Air Force Academy.
Keely Smith gets away with a Christmas present early, and Jason Moss is coming into the ball game. And they're short of back.
And it's Kevin Parker who comes in very late. They get plenty of time. The play clock is only at 17. That's Pipe showing blitz on the outside. He comes, but they run away from him. This is Parker. Has 5, puts a head down, and he's going to wind up with a gain of about 8. Tim Curry making the tackle.
Flag downfield.
Way down, yeah.
They had a Tony Hartley was involved in some push-ins with Jason Sanderson. Let's see who they call it on. Has to be a lot of talking in this ball game, Ron, because it looks like both these teams are at each other's throats here.
After that last play, when Oregon thought they had scored, Desmond Byrd went to one of the offensive linemen of Air Force and grabbed him on the ground and was jawing in his face. And
dead ball. personal foul. An automatic first down.
Ron, I think this is the right call right here, too, because Tony Hartley was blocking Jason Sanderson, and Jason Sanderson's going to pick up the penalty right here. Little swing there and to the helmet, and the umpire wisely watching downfield picked it up.
Anyway, that conversation, some players ran in between the two, but there has been some talking all night long between both clubs.
Going back to Keely Smith, Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator, said one of the problems he has is sometimes he'll surprise you. And he surprises us sometimes, too, with that interception. And that's why I think you have Jason Moss in the football game.
Fumbled the snap. He picks it up, and he's going to be pushed back.
Yeah, there goes another flag. Now, we've got big-time wrestling here. They're going to have to toss somebody out of this ball game here because to get this back under control.
Dead ball, personal foul on the offense. It'll be a 15-yard penalty, second down.
So it was a post-play foul. It'll be second down. They lose the down, and they lose that distance of 15 yards as Keely Smith looks on from the sideline.
Here's the extracurricular activity, and I think the next personal foul, you've got to toss somebody, or you're going to continue to have that.
That's Clues, 74, continuing to block. However, I'm not sure that's what the flag was about. I don't think it was.
No, it could have been on the far side over there where the flag headed.
Penalty pushes it back to the 21. Clock runs with 5:10 to play third quarter. Look at the penalties. Oregon now 15, 123 yards. And a timeout called by the Ducks. So let's take the break with them. 5:02 to play third quarter. 26-7. Oregon on top.
With ESPN magazine coming out, I really hope they take every precaution to avoid the coveraging situation. Something that's plagued me my entire career. Tiger beat in '93, I sprained my ankle. Model Railroader '96, I went into a 5-game slump. Cat fancy almost ended my career. I know one thing, I'm never doing cat fancy again.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
Chumbawamba, Tub Thumping, the smash hit from the new album, Tub Thumper, available now on Universal Records.
I get knocked down.
Tomorrow, it's a Hoops holiday treat on ESPN and ESPN2. First at 4:30, the Huskies boast one of the nation's most talented players, scoring machine Nikisha Sales. But Stanford has its own superstar, dominating forward Olympia Scott. Then at 7, Nashima Hillman leads the Commodores into battle against the Hawkeyes and their court general, Nadine DeMond. UConn Stanford at 4:30 on ESPN. Iowa Vanderbilt at 7 on ESPN2. The Honda Elite 4 Holiday Classic tomorrow.
26-7. And getting in the spirit of the season, Santa Claus, who is pulling for Air Force tonight. You know why? Because he's a fly guy too, see?
Yeah.
5:02 to play third quarter. Second down. Second down and goal. And they roll that pocket. Moss back over the middle, has it complete to Hartley for the touchdown. His second.
Well, they're wide open. They had all kind of time to throw. Jason Moss is And Achilles Smith cheering on the backup quarterback, but I think the backup quarterback's had a better day.
Let me tell you something, far better, Mike. He looks far more composed.
Well, Dirk Cutter...
he's got a gun.
Yeah, Dirk Cutter said now, the offensive coordinator said, one thing about Jason Moss, if we tell him to go progression 1, 2, 3, he's going to do that. But sometimes the better athlete, Achilles Smith, makes things happen.
Yeah.
But when you have a 2-quarterback situation, and they're going to have a 3-quarterback situation next year with Joey Harrington, it's going to be interesting for the new offensive coordinator.
So they go for 2, trying to make it the 34. It's a 7-ball game. It's Jelks, the tight end, in motion. Moss with the pass, has it to Spitz, the tight end, for the 2 points.
Well, we said it early, Ron, that the Air Force has not faced a potent offensive team like Oregon. They haven't this year. They are outmanned, outspeed, out-quickness. The whole works on defense right now. Jason Moss on the touchdown, little bootleg throw. Tony Hartley sitting down right in the middle of the field. Makes that catch, gets in the end zone for the touchdown. And they're doing the... and that should have been a penalty. The salute. Here's the 2-point play. Jason Moss over the middle to Blake Spence. He was wide open. So just hadn't been Air Force's day, Ron.
We doing it. We trying to do it out here.
Nope, and they're going to kick it off from the 35-yard line. You're right. The salute, an obvious
penalty,
mock at the Air Force Academy.
Yeah.
34 points have allowed tonight. They've been given up over the season, barely over 12 per ball game. It's going to come down to Brown. Hugh Brown flies into a tackler's arms at the 30-yard line. National Car Rental Bowl Week kicks off on ESPN Friday night with the inaugural Ford Motor City Bowl. The Mid-American Conference champion Marshall Thunderbird Herd taking on the Ole Miss Rebels for the Pontiac Silverdome. Marshall wide receiver and Heisman Trophy finalist Randy Moss will try to match moves with one of the SEC's top running backs, Mississippi's John Avery. Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. Pitch to Singleton, and he is bumped out of bounds. Here comes a flag. Singleton turned around immediately and said, hey, how about a penalty on Joyner? And Joyner will get one. It'll be 15 yards added on. And I think Mike Gottfried's right.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense. It'll be a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Randy Crystal and his officiating crew trying to get this one in grasp as we check in on the sideline with Adrian Karsten.
Ron, very honestly, it's like the salute maybe mocking their military background a little bit, that had Fisher DeBerry call all of his troops over and say, gentlemen, we are known, our signature is our discipline. Don't lose it. We may lose this football game, but coaches around America, in fact, gentlemen, Coach Bellotti said it to us yesterday, the first thing he thinks about when he thinks about the academy is the discipline. Fisher DeBerry does not want to lose that, if anything, at this point.
That's a good point, Adrian. 34-7. They're down right now. The clock just over 4.5 minutes to play, third quarter. Morgan pitches back to Singleton. The sideline wanted a face mask, but the official was right there, and he didn't see one. Dietrich Moore on the tackle, the sophomore out of Anchorage, Alaska. As you look at Moss on the sideline, and he didn't start the ball game, but I'll tell you what, his numbers right here, 50%, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, but the most impressive thing, his poise and confidence in this game.
Well, he really has. He's made plays, made that big play on that scramble back in the first half where they kind of blew it open. After he got the first down, they got the score.
And now Morgan wants to call a timeout, so he'll stop the clock with 4:02 left in the third. We'll take the break with him.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
At
At National Car Rental, we believe that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. Because at most major airports in America, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
Yeah, I broke it snowboarding, and the bad thing is, it's my bell-ringing arm.
Well, let's see. You'll need something light and portable with a good, clear sound. This model should do the trick. Would you be interested in looking at a car stereo? You know, for the sleigh?
You'll find hundreds of great gifts at Circuit City's holiday sale, all at guaranteed low prices. Like this Sanyo CD boombox, just $59.99. Now at Circuit City.
We thought about shaving so you could think about something else. Brawn, smart thinking.
Dad, Mom.
You'll find gifts for everyone on your list.
Oh, yeah, Diane, Uncle Bill.
At low holiday prices.
The mailman.
At the Ace Great Wrap-Up Sale. So hurry in before we wrap it up.
Well, one of the new theme restaurants here in Las Vegas is called the Rainforest, located inside the MGM Grand Hotel. You'll have plenty of company for lunch as you sit in comfort right in the middle of a tropical rainstorm. It really wasn't the elephant. That was Adrian. He was having to stand in line too long waiting for that lunch.
Buffet.
Play action. Sits on it, gets the pass away, and he is off the mark. It was Ruff. He was looking for Tobin Ruff.
Good pressure by Desmond Bird, number 99. They haven't been able to handle him this entire ball game. 6'3", 280 senior. Play fake, and of course, when you get behind as a wishbone team and you have to throw, it's no surprise. Desmond Bird came into the ball game with 34 tackles and has been a dominant defensive lineman in this game.
So it's third down. They need to take it to the Oregon 40-yard line. Oregon under heavy pressure. Hit. Is that a fumble? And nope, they say incomplete pass. Randy Crystal, the referee, standing right behind, and he blew the whistle immediately and signaled incomplete forward pass as Moore was back there making the hit on the quarterback.
Yeah, Dietrich Moore got penetration. It was a throwback screen, and Blaine Morgan just never got a chance to throw this. Dietrich Moore comes off the sideline, beats the block of the running back. Jamal Singleton made the hit.
This is the 7th punt by the Air Force Academy this afternoon, and I guess we now say evening.
Oregon taking a timeout.
Three minutes and 52 seconds left in the third quarter. As we take a look at the 98 schedule of Oregon, Michigan State, UTEP, San Jose State, then in the conference with Stanford, at Washington State, at UCLA, home against Southern Cal, at Arizona, then they're at home against Washington at Arizona State. They close it out traveling to Corvallis to take on Oregon State.
And I think this is going to be a pretty good football team next year. Defensively, they'll be better. And of course, they shown tonight what people thought Mike Belotti's defense could play, but offensively they lose 8 seniors. They return their quarterbacks, but and their tailback, but they're going to have to replace. No, they lose McCullough. They have to replace a lot of veteran football players.
Fair catch is called for and made by Pat Johnson inside the 15-yard line. 33 yards in the kick. But the Air Force Academy again, or rather Oregon, is going to take over with one of their poor field positions to start with on the night. Looks like McCullough will come back in.
You were talking to him about Ahmad Rashad breaking his record, and he said he was looking forward to meeting him to tell him that he didn't have the record anymore.
Yeah, there was a rumor that Ahmad was going to be here to play in the NFL golf tournament, and that he was coming to this ball game. And Saladin said that he hoped that he was willing to tell him that the record was his now. Moss's pass got it to Spence, the tight end, and he will take it all the way out to the 36, maybe the 37-yard line. Henderson on the stop. Sanderson, I mean.
Good catch again by the big tight end Blake Spence. Pretty good target at 6'4", 245 pounds. Going to play in the Hula Bowl. Lenny Klompus got him signed up over there to play in that All-Star game.
This is McCullough to the right side, and they hem him in, which is what you have to do. You can see the people on the outside, instead of coming too quickly to the play, breaking down, making sure that they forced him back inside.
Because what he does best, Ron, is he finds a little hole, a little slip, and he can cut on a dime. He can cut back as well as any running back we've seen this year.
Pipes made the tackle, but of course Pipes is the Falcon. They're coming from like that strong safety position, and that's what the force was about. 14 carries, 138 yards for McCullough. Sidearms this one, and he's got it to LaCorey Collins. Collins still fighting his way. He's going to take it out to about the 46 as Nashawn Smog makes the tackle on him. Also, Gizzy is there. Now look at the size of this young man, Mike. I'm amazed. He's like their number 5 wide receiver. He's a redshirt freshman at 6'4 and a half, 215. I saw him working day before yesterday out here. I thought, good heavens, he looked big enough to be a linebacker.
Yeah, you were impressed with him. LaCorey Collins has good size, good speed, and the coaches said that, you know, they just need some playing experience.
Also, his high school coach told Oregon when he decided to come there, they might even use him as a rush in on defense. McCullough takes the handoff, runs it back into the boundary, and he will be tackled at the 47 of Air Force. Curry defensively. Then you look at, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You were talking about that earlier, about they score every 138 on the clock.
That's what they average on their scoring drives. Well, look at this, 18, 12, 48, and 37. So they're going to bring that average down.
Yep. They have so many weapons, so much speed. When you start out on the outside with Johnson, who has legitimate track speed, and you McCullough up inside, you got guys like Hartley, and then Blake Spence can control you as a tight end.
McCullough hit in the backfield. He'll fight his way forward. Curry coming off the corner, and also Schumacher.
Tim Schumacher's played a good ball game around number 57. He's a 6'3", 250-pound senior whose dad played for Ohio State in the 1968 national championship team under Woody Hayes. So he's given a good account of himself tonight.
About to go under 1 minute to play, third quarter.
It's been a long ball game for Air Force.
Quarterback draw, hit, loses the football, picked up by Fisher. And Bryce Fisher is going to take it for the touchdown for the Air Force Academy. Now Bryce Fisher, the junior out of Renton, Washington. Big defensive tackle, 6'2", 251. Picked up the fumble on the quarterback draw and rumbled for just over 50 yards, I believe it's going to be, and the touchdown.
I didn't see who made the hit on the play. Was it Schumacher? I couldn't tell who made the hit for Bryce Fisher to get that ball. One he'll remember for a long time.
Well, that's for sure. And particularly coming from the great Northwest, which right next door to the state of Oregon.
A little slow getting their offensive team on the field here to go for 2 points.
I'm going to say officially 45 yards on that return. Morgan throws it, intercepted by the Oregon defensive safety, Figueres.
Well, he's played well. Jairo Figueres has played well in the option game on the run and has been there every time they've tried to throw in his direction. Let's see who makes this hit on this play.
Well, it's Moore. Jeff Moore, isn't it?
Jeff Moore
50th?
made the hit.
Yeah.
He caused the fumble. Bryce Fisher picked it up, and every defensive lineman's dream.
That's for sure. 45 yards. Bryce runs pretty well for a
He
defensive
looks-
line. Not bad.
Runs with his head up. Here's the extra point. The interception by Figueres. Poor throw behind the receiver.
So with 43 seconds left in the third, it is Oregon now 34 and the Air Force Academy 13. There's Jeff Moore, the senior out of Cincinnati, Ohio, on the headsets, talking upstairs, I would assume, to Cal McCombs, the defensive coordinator for the Air Force Academy. Wright prepares to kick it off. And again, Pat Johnson, one of the deep men, along with Jason Cooper. And this one's going to go to Johnson's side at the 4. Tried to reverse his field, and he pays for it. Short of the 20-yard line. That's a nice job by Charlie Jackson on the special teams.
Nice coverage by Air Force. They've been very good in the special teams area and good coverage tonight on kicks.
Christian DeBerry continues to pace the sideline, looking up at the clock. Still 32 seconds left to play in this third quarter. This game is almost 3 hours old. Gets bratted by Finnan, Sean Finnan, senior out of Belleville, Illinois, just outside of Chicago.
Air Force defensive line just hasn't been able to control Oregon's offensive line. That should be the last play here in the third quarter.
If they're not going to try to run another one, it's down to 8, down to 7. So that is the end of the third quarter. And as we head to the final 15 minutes of play, it's the Ducks of Oregon 34 and the Air Force Academy 13.
Dreams. That's what it's all about, dreams, and to believe that you can reach them. I had no idea of playing baseball for a living because all the people I saw playing was white. That's Oscar Charleston.
Okay, put Oscar in his column.
All right.
Now you have a baseball card.
People want to know the history of Negro League baseball. I want to move the logo down on Satchel Paige's chest. I'm playing with some of the greatest athletes that ever lived. Oscar Charleston, Buck Leonard, Satchel Paige. I wish you could have seen them.
You got the internet?
I don't have the internet. This should be passed on. I would sell baseball cards over the internet. Huh?
You could.
Who ever heard of the internet? The whole world will be able to see and hear what I'm saying. That's progress. Yeah, the grandson of a slave. Progress. Woo! And a lot of things happen to you in 85 years, man.
What are you guys doing? What are you doing? Hey, you know, the only time you guys yell box out is when you're out of donut. You guys remind me of my shoe closet. I got 1 penny and a bunch of loafers.
Sooners still working very hard for their football team, although they're down by 21 points. With the final 15 minutes to come of this Las Vegas Bowl 1997. It's the beginning of the bowl season. The first of 10 games that you'll see on either ESPN2 or ESPN. Moss, as he gets it away. Johnson on the receiving end. He's going to score another one. This one from, what do we got? 77 yards.
Ron, he took a hit. Jason Moss, when he threw that football, I believe Chris Gizzy.
Yep, it was Gizzy.
Hit him just as he threw the football. He got enough on that ball to get the ball to Pat Johnson for the touchdown. What an outstanding day for Jason Moss. Chris Gizzy just a little bit late. Look at Chris Gizzy make that hit on Jason Moss. He couldn't even follow through on that throw. And here's the other side of it. Pat Johnson and that sprinter speed.
It was Smog who jumped over his shoulder and then went to the ground and missed the tackle. Joshua Smith to attempt the extra point for Oregon. And he's got it. So 14:50 left in our ball game with the new score. Oregon 41, Air Force Academy 13.
Look at this place, the Caesar's Palace. You are one lucky lady. Hey, let me tell you about all the new stuff. Why? Because you deserve the best. Let's talk new tower. 1,200 rooms, each with its own private spa tub, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I picture a goddess like you lounging in the new pools. And trust me, you're gonna love the new shops and shows. Be honest, you're impressed, aren't you? So, you hungry? You want to hear about the restaurants? No. Venus, need a hand with those bags?
Why get a buffer just to polish a weather vane? Why buy a drill if you just want to hang mini blinds? Why buy a sander just to unstick a door? Why struggle with a hacksaw just to cut a closet organizer? Wouldn't it be better to have one tool that handles all those jobs and more? Then why not trust the rotary tool more than 10 million people already rely on? The Dremel rotary tool. Ask anyone who knows. It's the real deal. Also available cordless.
Will she say, I love it? You shouldn't have. It's just what I wanted. Or will she say, nothing at all? The diamond solitaire necklace. This Christmas goes straight for the heart.
A diamond is forever. De Beers.
The Las Vegas Bowl on ESPN2 is presented by Las Vegas. It's non-stop action around the clock, and we're open 24 hours. And in part by Dremel, tools for the imagination. Well, we got a new kicker in the game. Arash Imami will kick it off for the Oregon Ducks.
The other guy's tired. Kicked off a bunch.
And this return by Brown for the 7-yard line. Moved with the Hibbins. Does he get tagged?
Well, when you beat Washington, shows you have a pretty good football team. This team has come alive toward the end of the season.
Well, one of the things that their head coach said yesterday is you look at the scoring drives and the length of time, 18, 12, 48, 37, and 42 seconds. And the amazing thing is that 48-second one there had 7 plays in it. That's amazing.
Took a while.
For Johnson, 5 catches, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 punt returns for 29, and 3 kickoff returns for 54. Flag comes down as Singleton grabbed the pitch.
He made it back. He made it back. I got back. No, I didn't get back. You got back?
Offside on the defense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty, and we'll repeat first down.
So 5 yards to be stepped off against Oregon. First down and 5. 17 penalties, 141 yards now against the Ducks.
Has to be some kind of record.
I certainly would think so.
Cale Bonds is the backup quarterback. You figure we're going to see him eventually here. 14:20 to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, he keeps it himself. It's Peter Sermon who comes up to make the hit. Also, Patu was there.
You got to take your hat off to Rich Stubler. He has prepared a game plan here for the Ducks that not many people felt like they could stop the running game of Air Force. But they have not only stopped it, they have throttled it completely.
As we mentioned off the top of the telecast, and if you wondered why you haven't seen Joe Ingram, if Singleton runs the reverse, there's only a couple there. Again, it's Peter Sermon. Joe Ingram, dehydration, flu-like symptoms. He spent the night in the hospital, and they didn't even bring him out here to the ballpark this afternoon.
There's Rich Stubler right here. He's a happy man because he's leaving his job today. This is his last ball game as the coordinator and coach at Oregon, and he's going to go back into pro football. Job well done defensively.
Third down, and the quick out pass caught by Farmer, and then he is knocked out of bounds hard at the 44.
Got a nice block by Tobin Ruff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you have to do if you're a running back in the Air Force system like Tobin Ruff is. You may get to carry the ball several times, but you're going to have to block a lot. Number 19 does just that right there. Sealed the corner on the outside. Rashad Bowman.
I beg it was Dylan Newman who caught the ball.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. I called Farmer.
Good explosion after the play by Dylan.
Clock runs with 12.5 minutes to play in this one. Quick out pass. That's a lateral. He can throw it again, but he elected to try to run, and now here comes a late flag.
That was good coverage by the Ducks. Figueres, number 22, didn't take the bite on that play. It was a double pass all the way. Figueres stayed back.
Holding against Air Force.
I'll say one thing, these officials will be tired when this game's over.
Figueres, senior out of Glendale, California.
He has had a whale of a ball game. He's one of the seniors on the defensive team. They have 3 senior starters on defense. They're young.
Yeah, Figueres White and Desmond Bird are those 3 seniors that start.
Holding on the offense. It'll be a 10-yard penalty, and we'll replay first down.
Ron, now I know you're up on all sports in Oregon. That's just some of their well-known athletes in the past. Who comes to mind?
The 2 that come to mind are 2 quarterbacks.
Oh, my favorite. One of my favorite quarterbacks now, Dan Fouts.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Norm Van Broek.
Well, he's from there also.
Yeah,
he's a great, both of them great. Dan Fouts is one of the all-time greats.
Well, and there's a golfer that has always been one of my favorites. You remember Jake Trout and the singing group? Oh, my goodness, what a hit on Singleton as he's going to be knocked down for a loss. And Air Force going the wrong way. But Peter Jacobson went to Oregon.
Who else can you name?
Well, Mel Renfro, the Cowboys.
Oh, he was great. Defensive back for Tom Landry. Who else can you come up with there?
Well, Steve
we had him on.
Steve Prefontaine.
Oh, okay, all right.
Track star.
We talked about Ahmad Rashad already.
Yep.
And Len Casanova, the all-time great coach there, is here tonight. Named a facility after him.
Quarterback draw, and he'll lose again. Patu comes in to make the tackle.
Saul Patu, freshman, 6'3", 240. There's no design now. Nothing's going to fool Oregon's defense. You get a wishbone team behind this much, and early in the ball game, like the Ducks did, just you pull them out of what they do best.
Well, the option back into the open side of the field, loses his footing and goes down.
They haven't played well on turf tonight either.
No, and in fact, I have to wonder if that is...
Yeah, it's affected them.
But the speed, more than anything, has affected them.
Yeah, they have just been outclassed with speed and quickness by Oregon, and both on offense and defense. And in special teams. It's been a whitewash.
8th punt of the night by the Air Force Academy as Johnson waits. And Oregon's got the return on. It's going to bounce right to him. Gets by the first wave. Hang on. He could go. And finally steps out of bounds as a couple of more blue shirts came over to run him out of bounds. But for a moment there, it looked as though he might have an opportunity to get in that end zone again. Timeout on the field following that 43-yard punt and a 19-yard return. We'll be right back.
Merlin is my name.
Hey! Excuse me. I didn't conjure you up. Why, no. So I'm back.
Describe Las Vegas in 4 words.
Fantastic, colorful,
Exciting.
fairyland.
Do you like men in armor?
Somebody woke up on the wrong side of the magic carpet.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You wouldn't believe it.
Every time we come back, it's something new.
America's favorite playground. Can I keep them?
Come on, give it up for Las Vegas!
Ice Sport, the cool, fresh scent of exhilaration. In aftershave and deodorants, new from Aquavelva.
Welcome to Packer Bell Service and Support. How can I help you?
Hi, it's Kelly, Ninja.
And who's that I hear?
Jamie's a big cranky. Listen, I'm having a little trouble with my computer.
Okay, well, one problem at a time. Put Jamie on.
At Packard Bell Service and Support, we can solve just about any problem. Packard Bell, the computer the world comes home to. Featuring the Intel Pentium 2 processor.
Get ready to get creative. Get into a Rebel G. Go beyond snapshots. Experience the ultimate rush.
Cool.
Rebel G and only EOS lenses from Canon.
It's a feast for college football fans. National Car Rental Bowl Week. Coverage begins December 26th, only on ESPN.
Well, we are back, and as you look at the sideline, it looks as though Air Force is about to make a change at quarterback. Cale Bonds is warming up, and on the field, A.J. Feely, number 7, a redshirt freshman out of Ontario, California, is the new quarterback, 6'4", 205. And running play is going to go for about 4, maybe 5 yards. Jason Cooper is the ball carrier. As you look at Moss on the sideline, and he's feeling good about his team and about himself, and he should. He has had a heck of a ball game tonight, as has a number of his teammates. Saladin McCullough, also Pat Johnson. Johnson has been unbelievable. Akili Smith led this football team early and got him going. Tony Hartley with a couple of touchdown passes. Everybody has contributed on the offensive side of the ball. Blake Spence, although he dropped one, he has had himself a good ball game.
And the unsung hero is the defensive coordinator, Rich Stubler, because the plan that he put in for the option. And when you look at Air Force, Ron, they've accomplished a lot this year. Big season when nobody expected it. After the 1993 season, Fisher DeBerry is 4-8. And of course, he's had so much success there. They developed new formations for the option game. And in the last 10 years, only Nebraska has ran for more yards than the Air Force. So a proud program.
Well, off to Cooper. Turned turns the corner on the right side, runs into his own blocker, and takes down the defensive back at the same time, Smog. And that's enough for the first down.
You were talking about all the Oregon players, and you look at 83. He's had a big day. Pat Johnson shown the speed. Opening play. People didn't even sit down yet. And he caught that touchdown pass. Throw from Jason Moss. A good catch, good concentration on that play.
First play of the first quarter, first play or early on in the second quarter, and they score again. Ball is loose, and Air Force has recovered. On the football is Tyler at the 29-yard line. Now let's see who we get at quarterback.
You think, Ron, when you talk about the Air Force, Chris Gizzi, of course, playing his last game here, and several seniors on this football team.
That's going to be Bonds, who will come in at quarterback for the Air Force Academy, and it would appear we've seen all that we're going to see of Blaine Morgan this evening.
Well, he did the best he could under the circumstances. With that injury, it affected him a lot. It affected their offense.
Pass incomplete as the receiver Farmer could not hold on. The numbers on Morgan: 6 of 19, 59 yards and 1 interception. He was 0 for his first 8.
Product of no practice, limited practice time because of his injury, the layoff from the season end till the bowl game, and then you get hurt. You're just not as sharp as you'd like to be.
Singleton in motion to go straight ahead. The handoff to Perota. And he is struck down at the line of scrimmage. That's Vandiver, number 39, Chris Vandiver, a junior out of Lebanon, Oregon.
Never got the fullback untracked in this ball game.
In fact, we need to check on how many. Fullback hasn't had that many carries.
No, they just have not been a factor, and that's been the whole key for Air Force this year on offense. The fullback, and they gain over 100 yards. The combined fullbacks, they're 5-0 this year. And
there's Gillum. He started the night. 10 carries for 20 yards for the fullbacks today. 2 yards per try for fullbacks for the Air Force Academy. Bad thing about what they're having to do right now is throw the ball incomplete, stop the clock, and we still have 7:05 to play, and they have to give it right back to Oregon. Michael Fletcher, number 1, has gone back deep to receive the punt. Going to give Pat Johnson a rest. It now takes an Oregon bounce, and it's going to be touched down by the Air Force Academy at the 36. So it's a 35-yard kick. There's a timeout. 6:56 remaining in our ball game, 41-13.
I rolled the dice for $8.
I unloaded my Tonka for $12.
We went to Club Med for $18.
Smart investors know it. You get seriously low commissions and really fast trades with Ameritrade. Internet trade for $8. Touch-tone trade for $12. Or trade with a broker just $18.
I just sold a ton of steel for $8.
And that's one low price per trade, no matter how many shares you trade. Just call 1-800-592-3202.
I sold the store for $12.
Plus, your first 5 trades are commission-free when you open an account with Ameritrade. Call 1-800-592-3202 or visit our website.
Traded my Fiat for BMW. Unloaded BMW for Mercedes. All before lunch.
Ameritrade. The way to trade. Period.
Just like Paul Bunyan,
the '79 Oakland Raiders, and those guys in Star Wars. Snowmobile racers are the last great American folk heroes. I sold out arenas and racetracks for the same reason crowds brave the cold, to watch these kids put one of those babies 40 feet in the air. Because this country has always had a place in our heart for anyone with the guts to strap on a helmet, take on the odds, and stick it to the man.
The Winter X Games, coming soon.
Welcome back to the 1997 Las Vegas Bowl. The Oregon Ducks versus, obviously, the Fighting Falcons of the Air Force.
Way to go, Adrian. All right, we are back at the desert. We have 6:56 left in this football game, and it's all controlled by these guys from Eugene. 41-13. They lead the Air Force Academy. Cooper comes across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Okay, 30, I beg your pardon, rather than 20. So David Crump, still another man we don't have on our roster because they have gone a little further into it than they thought. And Gizzy on the sideline. He is not in the ball game on this series.
And Ron, he's an outstanding player. Hurt his knee in the third game of his sophomore year, and he said then he promised himself that he'd play every practice and every game and every play as it was his last, and that's the way he's played his entire career.
This is Cooper, and he gets out of bounds after picking up the first down. By the way, speaking of Chris Gizzy, yesterday over at Caesar's Palace, the Air Force Academy held a special graduation ceremony for him. Following a serious knee injury his sophomore year, he was granted what is really a rare special exemption from the Academy's rigid 4 years and out system, and he finishes up this fall. All his teammates came over. They are so proud of him and glad that the Academy did what they did to pay tribute to a very special young man. By the way, Chris pointed out with a graduation class of one that it still doesn't mean that he's the valedictorian, which I think
oh, well, he is for a day.
Yeah, he is. And
but they talk about it to Air Force. The coaches said more pro scouts have come through Air Force this year, and then a long time to take a look at him.
Well, the tackle is going to be made as he is pushed out of bounds. Now here comes a flag in, and it was David Crump who got shoved out of bounds, and it looks as though we're going to have 15 yards tacked on to that as Feely continues to operate at quarterback, the redshirt freshman from Ontario.
Dead ball, personal foul on the offense. Second down.
Well, another one against Oregon. It's going in the books.
Now, the biggest thing right now is still another stoppage in play. I have a feeling that both teams would like to see that thing go on fast forward and head to the house. Oregon, speaking of that, is going right back to Eugene tonight. They're not going to stay the evening here in Las Vegas.
Wise move. Mike Bellotti said he didn't want to be responsible for 100 players.
Feely's pass well off the mark. Ray Brust, the intended receiver. He's only a sophomore. Ray is 6'3", 215 out of Highlands Rancho, Colorado.
There's a big win in basketball, Ron. West Virginia, Gail Catlett beating Georgia. There's talk about Gail Catlett maybe his last year.
Morgantown.
Good coach. Good person.
Just under 6 minutes to play as the clock stopped on that incompletion. Feely sets to throw again. And got it complete. It's Kevin Parker. Inside the 40 down to the 36-yard line.
That's that same route, 4 verticals, where you take all 4 wide receivers and run them down the field on streak routes. And you catch Air Force sitting with a 3-deep secondary, and you read the free safety, and bang, they hit Kevin Parker.
That's good for 22 yards.
Tell you, A.J. Feely had the 4th quarterback to that race. They've got a quarterback log jamming.
Another flag comes down.
It's not a game for the highlights.
No, it really is not.
A lot of penalties.
And Oregon taking a big walk back as they're headed back beyond midfield.
Holding on the offense. It'll be a 10-yard penalty, and we'll replay first down.
Well, the Duck fans that have come down here from Eugene.
And there have been quite a few. I've run into a bunch of them.
Yeah. You know, I felt like before the game, though, that Feely, even though he's the number 3 quarterback, is a really popular guy. Really here in Vegas. I've seen his number all over the place. 7.
There's times where you don't want to see that number.
Don't want to see Feely, huh?
No, you don't want to see 7.
Oh. 5:04 to play as they roll the pocket, reverse it back to the right, throws complete. Inside the 30 and down to the 26-yard line, and it's Jed Weaver on the receiving end of this one.
And Air Force defense doesn't want to see A.J. Feely right now because he's on the mark.
By the way, this is the most points Oregon has ever scored in a bowl game. The old record was 35. That was in that Independence Bowl game, 1992 against Wake Forest.
I had that game. I was there.
And let's check in with Adrian Karsten down on the sideline.
You guys are talking about the log jam and quarterback here. The receivers tell me that A.J. Feely may actually throw the hardest, tightest football. You can actually, in practice, they hear it coming, and they got to spin their head around right away and make sure they know exactly where that ball is. Obviously, spent a lot of time with the scout team, but he really throws a very hard ball. They have compared him to the way Brett Favre carries out his fakes as well, Ron and Mike. He really does a fantastic job carrying all the way through to the end of the play. Had a touchdown, ran for 1 and threw for 1 against Arizona State, as a matter of fact.
Adrian, did you just get out of the airplane?
Well, been all over the place, you guys. You know, I cover all angles.
4:37 left to play in our ball game, and clearly Oregon with a decisive victory. The only thing that's left to find out now is, will the reserves get into the end zone to put their name in the record books here in Las Vegas? Cooper takes it to the 23-yard line.
No, Ron, I head to the Motor City Bowl. George Perlis, our friend, is running that bowl game, and that should be a good game. Mississippi Marshall. And then we
reunite a week from tomorrow night.
That should be a heck of a ball game.
Notre Dame LSU. Yeah, that should be.
You always got to favor the team in the rematch, I think, that lost.
Marshall and Mississippi coming up on Friday night in that Motor City Bowl game you were talking about. And speaking of repeats, remember Ole Miss and LSU played at that famous Billy Cannon return game, and then they played them again in the Sugar Bowl, and then that one was totally reversed, 21-0, 7-3. LSU won the first one. So you're right.
When you look at LSU in that ball game, they lose their defensive coordinator Carl Reese to Texas, and hired Lou Tepper, so how quick he can get in the fold in that ball game may be a factor too. And then we catch Georgia and Wisconsin. That should be a good ball game.
I think it will.
Big Ten.
And you know, Mike, that also probably will be one of the most heavily attended ball games because Wisconsin brings a lot of folks.
They really do.
And Georgia being right there, they will as well. Well, coming up next on ESPN2, college basketball, the Las Vegas shootout from down the road at the Thomas and Mack Center. UMass, the Minutemen, taking on the Buffaloes of Colorado. They stopped by there on the way home. That pass thrown complete to Collins. He gets blitzed. Whoa, what a hit. Going to be 4th down. Jeff Moore got outside to make the tackle.
2 big basketball games tonight here, right?
That's
UNLV
right.
and saw Charlie Cavanero, the athletic director at UNLV. He stopped by here a second. He said he's got to run to the basketball game. Thinks they have an excellent chance to beat Syracuse tonight. We'll see.
Syracuse off to a really good start. I'll tell you, I had UMass at Kansas last week. As you look at the yardage, 568 yards, and Bruiser Flint's ball club got some young people that I'd rather play them now than later. Cooper motoring those legs. He's down to the 11-yard line, and beg your pardon, it's Crump. 30 rather than 20. So all of these reserves getting an opportunity to play tonight.
Well, Fisher DeBerry returns as quarterback next year. Blaine Morgan, and a lot of the nucleus of this ball club. He gets Mindrup back, his offensive guard. Joe Ingram will be back. Spanky Gillum, Singleton, Q Brown, the outstanding young running back. So they're going to be a factor in the WAC again next year.
The 5-yard line is Crump, and still fighting as we're at 1:30 and counting left in this 1997 edition of the Las Vegas Bowl. You know, one quick other word about Fisher DeBerry. His offensive coordinator and his defense coordinator been with him for 14 years, and there's good reason for that. He is a classy guy who
really
has to be good to work with and work for. But he probably, what I think he does the best job with, Mike, is he understands the parameters of which he has to work. His guys are a little, he's not going to have 6'8", 320-pound tackles. They don't allow that. And the 20-hour work week, they've been going on that for a long time.
You know, Ron, to add to that, when you talked to Cal McCombs yesterday, one of the assistant coaches, he sat there and he praised on Fisher about the way he handles the program, that he still allows fun in this program. He wants them to have fun because he knows how hard it is at the Air Force Academy, and he doesn't want them to come out to football and be drudgery there. So he makes it fun. So he's a gentleman. There's Bob Knoblich, the offensive coordinator, Cal McCombs, the defensive coordinator, and of course Fisher with a good staff. And on the other side, Mike Bellotti gets his first bowl win.
Now, I'll tell you, he's got some impressive young players, just like this fellow right here. I'll tell you, these 2 young running backs that have come in the last part have been extremely impressive. That's going to be the final play of the ball game. Down to 1 second, and Oregon has broken their drought in the 90s in the bowl games, and I'll tell you, they have broken it in a very big way. 41-13, they have won over the Air Force Academy tonight. Coming up on ESPN2 college basketball, UMass and Colorado in the Las Vegas shootout. And don't forget, Bowl Week begins next Friday night, the day after Christmas, with the Ford Motor City Bowl. Marshall taking on Mississippi. For Mike Gottfried, Adrian Karsten, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Ron Franklin. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.